my kind and inquisitive Virgo friend. Hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. Virgo, this week begins with a hush that only you can feel. There is a subtle, persistent tension in the air, a quiet internal debate that colors your mood, even when your face is calm. You may notice the small ways you've pulled back from a decision, or the gentle ache that comes from not saying what you mean. Perhaps there is a question lingering in the background of your thoughts, one that you turn over in your mind and tuck away again before anyone else can see it. It's not fear that holds you, it's the care with which you weigh each side. You want to be fair, to be right, to avoid regret. Yet the longer you hover in this space, the heavier the silence becomes. The world moves around you, but inside there is a quiet crossroads. You are not lost, but you are not yet moving. This week, the air is thick with anticipation and the weight of decisions unmade. It's a familiar place for you, somewhere between wanting to keep the peace and wanting to find your own. In this moment, the Two of Swords quietly sits beside you. Its presence is not loud, but it is unmistakable, like the stillness before dawn when every possibility feels equal and every outcome just beyond reach. Your inner world is holding its breath. You can sense the tension between what you know and what you feel, between the logic that guides you and the intuition that whispers for your attention. There's a calmness in your demeanor, but underneath, a gentle turbulence. You may be wrestling with a choice that does not have a clear right or wrong, or perhaps you are shielding yourself from the discomfort of taking a side. The desire to keep balance is strong, but in the process your true feelings may be pushed aside. You might notice small hesitations, pauses in conversation, a reluctance to share your deeper thoughts, or a tendency to sit on the fence when asked for your perspective. It's not that you lack conviction. Rather, you hold the weight of others' expectations and your own hopes at the same time. This week, your emotional posture is one of quiet restraint. You are holding two truths, two directions, two desires, and you are not yet ready to commit to either. The result is a sense of stillness that is not restful but watchful. You are waiting for something, perhaps for clarity, or perhaps for the moment when you feel safe enough to act. Meanwhile, your mind carefully reviews every angle, searching for an answer that will disturb the least and serve the most. In doing so, you may feel isolated, even from those closest to you. The tension is not only about the decision itself, but about your longing to remain whole, unbroken by regret, untouched by the consequences of choosing. The Two of Swords invites you to recognize this pause not as a flaw, but as a sign of how much you care about getting it right. In this space, your heart is tender, your mind precise, and your spirit quietly resilient. From this inner crossroads, the next days unfold with a certain inevitability. The tension of indecision builds pressure, quietly at first, then with a force that demands attention. Every time you revisit your options, the stakes seem to grow heavier. What began as a gentle suspension becomes a kind of emotional weight, pressing you to acknowledge what cannot be delayed forever. The stillness you have maintained cannot hold against the momentum of life moving forward. It is as if the world begins to ask for your answer in subtle and not so subtle ways. Circumstances shift, people ask more of you, and the cost of waiting becomes visible. The inner pause gives rise to a path shaped by necessity and the slow accumulation of strain. This is where the Ten of Swords emerges on your path. There is a sense of culmination, not with drama, but with the quiet recognition that something has reached its end. The pressure you have carried starts to peak. You may notice fatigue, mental, emotional, or even physical, as the energy required to maintain your indecision runs its course. The situation that once seemed manageable now feels unwieldy, and the friction between what you want and what you must do becomes undeniable. Perhaps an outside factor forces you to confront what you've avoided, or perhaps you simply reach the limits of your own patience. This is not a moment of defeat, but a turning point. The sense of being overwhelmed is real, but it also brings a strange relief, the relief of no longer having to hold everything in balance. You might experience an ending, or the realization that you can no longer continue as you have. The pressure releases, and with it, the illusion that you can keep all sides satisfied dissolves. There is a vulnerability in this moment as you reckon with disappointment, your own or someone else's. Yet there is also honesty, a rawness that strips away pretense and leaves only what is true. It's possible that you feel let down, or that you grieve the loss of a possibility. The Ten of Swords shows you the reality of limits, the need for closure, and the cost of delay. In the face of this, you are invited, not forced, to acknowledge what is over, what can no longer be sustained. The friction of the week is not just about what happens to you, but about what happens within you as you meet the end of a particular way of being. It is an active process, one that demands your attention and in its own way sets you free. As the path shifts beneath your feet, it becomes clear that what happens next does not unfold on its own. The potential of this week depends on your willingness to meet these moments consciously. If you remain only in reaction, caught in the aftermath or the loss, you may miss what is available on the other side. The door to possibility is unlocked by your choice to see this ending, this pressure, as something to engage with rather than something to endure. Growth is not automatic. It arises from the decision to stand in the fullness of your experience and claim authority over how you move forward. The moment calls for presence, not passivity, a chance to shape meaning from what has been released. Here the Emperor stands as the possibility awaiting you. This card is not about dominance, but about grounded presence and quiet self-assurance. After the tension and the release, there is an invitation to anchor yourself in what you know to be true. The Emperor reminds you that structure and stability are not restrictions, but resources. You have the chance to take what felt chaotic and give it form, to build the next part of your week from a place of integrity, not reaction. Growth, in this sense, is about stepping into your own authority, however that looks for you. It's not about controlling outcomes or proving yourself to others. Instead, it's a gentle returning to your own boundaries, your own principles, and your own sense of rightness. The pain or fatigue of earlier days can become the foundation for a new kind of strength. You may find yourself able to hold space for complexity, to make decisions without apology, to trust your own discernment. The Emperor's invitation is to inhabit your life with confidence, not bravado, an inner certainty that comes from having met yourself honestly. In this space, you do not need to explain or justify. You simply stand where you are, knowing that you have earned your place. The week's growth lies in this steadying, in the realization that you can carry both the lessons of tension and the gifts of release into a more grounded way of being. Looking back, the week's story weaves itself together. You began at an inner crossroads, holding tension like a secret, wanting to remain whole amidst uncertainty. That pause, though necessary, became its own kind of burden, leading you to a point where something had to give. The release was not easy, but it was honest. In the aftermath, you found not emptiness, but the first stones of a new foundation. The journey from indecision through release to self-possession is not linear, but it is real. Each phase prepares you for the next, each discomfort making space for a more authentic presence. The quiet restraint of the beginning was not wasted. It taught you what matters. The pressure of the path was not pointless. It revealed what you could no longer carry. The stability at the end is not a prize, but a resting place, a place where you can breathe, gather yourself, and look outward again. This week you have moved through silence, through surrender, and into your own quiet authority. There is calm now, even if the world around you is still in motion. You have not lost yourself. You have simply returned to the center of your own life, a little stronger, a little clearer, and more ready to meet whatever comes next. Actionable insights for Virgo this week. Notice what happens when you give yourself permission to pause before responding, especially when the pressure is high. Try letting one small thing end, even if it's just a habit or a routine that no longer fits. Spend a few minutes today arranging your space or schedule in a way that feels supportive, not demanding. Spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. My pause is a place of power. I let go of what weighs me down. I shape my days with quiet certainty. I am steady, clear, and ready to begin again. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.